Welcome back to round 3 of the Italian Grand Prix here in Monza. My name is Jerry Morris and I'll take you through the action tonight. So, different format, we've got a sprint race and right now we're one-shot qualified, and leading the way is the Haas. And let's see then as we approach down into turn number 1, then hits the apex on the inside and save for turn 3, kiss the apex, get on the throttle as soon as you can, exiting turn number 2. So on board with Frankie then as he makes his way around the right-hander Curva Grande, taking a tight slide as possible. We've got 2 retirements, which is Monza and Cazizzo then. 26.1 in the first sector, breaking about 100 metre board. He slightly misses the entry towards the second chicane, but let's see then how much time he lost through there. He's fallen down into P6 behind Noah then. Going into the first Lesmo, stays in 5th gears, and now going into the second one, into 5th gear we go yet again. Didn't really ride at the curve as much as he wanted in the second Lesmo, but uses the exit curve as Noah then becomes the third retiree in this session. And Tom is leading the way ahead of Kaya in P2, 53.0 as we head into Ascari then. It's 5th gear corner and takes it flat out through there as well. Nice done from Frankie. He's up into P3 just behind his Haas teammate. Both Haas's have been doing well recently in performance, it must be said. And now Frankie's making his way towards the final corner at Parabolica then, brings it out wide on the exit. And let's see then what lap time he can set. Tom's currently leading the way, but Frankie is going to put on a lap time of a 19.6. And he's beaten by his teammate Kaya in P2, with Tom, who is on pole position in P1 for the sprint quality then. So that's qualified, done and dusted. The pressure was ramping up, soaking up, as the one-shot qualified is very difficult. You only get one chance only, but you can make it up in the sprint race, which will determine your starting position for the actual race. So the gap between Kaya and Tom separated by 600ths, as Tom set at 19.4 ahead of the 2 Hasses at P3 and P4. Aries in P4 ahead of Jensen in the Alpha Tower, both Clarence Azim and Tim Wenting in P7 and P6 and P7. Will Murdoch P8. LRB gets himself in the top 10 in P9. Nightblaze in P10. Crazer in P11 ahead of Harm, Molly, Noah, Benza and Alberto Cazizzo. Those drivers did not set a lap time. It wasn't a representative lap time for LRB, Nightblaze, Crazer and Harm, but lap time is very important because others can invalidate their lap times and make mistakes, so might as well continue with their lap if you don't have it invalidated. But that's it for one-shot qualifying then. We'll go on to the race, which is about 9 laps if I'm not mistaken. One-shot qualifying is very difficult because you don't know what the track's going to feel like in one shot. Plus you get put out of the circuit and you don't know what the conditions feel like either, so it's very hard to get a lap together. And you make a mistake, you've got to continue with it, even if you if it's a big one, because you never know others around you will invalidate their lap times and therefore you can gain many positions like that. But yeah, some of these drivers could just adapt so quickly no matter what condition it is, and therefore get a lap time in. That's all the skills they possess. Others may take a few laps to get a lap time in, 2 or 3 laps before they fully get a lap time in, and that's their weakness in the one-shot qualifying, because they're not able to do that. But we're moving on to the race then for the sprint race. And here we go then, 3, 4, 5 lights, and we're going to be away shortly for round number 3 then. And let's see who gets a better start off the line. Looks like the Evans is the top 4. You can see the McLaren there, wheel spinning. I think that was Tim Wentic as the Mercedes on top moves over, as Benson's already retired from the session. He's crashed on the straight. I'm not quite sure that's how that happened, but both Hasses going side by side. As a Ferrari looking to go down the inside, but got squeezed on the entry, and the Alpine took advantage of that one. As more yellow flags then, as people behind making mistakes, as Marley gets a 3-second time penalty for cutting the corners. But look at that, Tom's only got the gap to 1 second almost. You can see there the Haas is under pressure from the Alpine, blades on the brakes, and there he goes then. Can he make the corner? Yes he can, as Will Murdoch is up into P3 from P8, but Frankie gets a better exit. So does the AlphaTauri and Jensen, moving side by side now in the first Lesmo, and Will Murdoch has the outside line, more speed, a better grip, and therefore he stays ahead up into P4, but ahead of both AlphaTauris. So both AlphaTauris had a decent start then, and that was a very quick start. Here is the tyres then for all of you. Will Murdoch on the soft compound tyres, so that's why he got a good advantage off the start. Zayn has moved himself up into P7 then, ahead of Aries who's into P8, but look at that behind. You can see they're making a mistake in saying into Ascari, and here comes the Ferrari of Aries. They're making his way back past McLaren, but it's a drag race all the way down towards Parabolica, and a few drivers weaving there to get temperature into their tyres. No formation, like, remember, that's probably why there were mistakes heading down into turn number 1, but the Ferrari of Aries then stays ahead of Zayn for P7, and further up the road is Will Murdoch pressurising one of the Hasses, which is Frankie. Has got the overspeed to overtake him into turn number 1. The Haas pulls to the right hand side. Will Murdoch going to go round the outside into turn number 1. He's going to squeeze her into turn 2. We go wheel to wheel. And look at that then. You can see them touching sidebars, and Frankie then stays ahead of Will Murdoch for the time being then. And Will Murdoch has to get past Frankie as quickly as he can before those soft compound tyres start fading away. Further behind, we've got the Aston Martin and the Ferrari going side by side. And here we go then, into the heavy breakers, there we go. The Ferrari gets ahead of LRB also on the soft compound tyres along with Will Murdoch. So only 2 drivers then decided to go on the soft compound tyres. Will it work out for this race? I know there's only 9 laps in this race, but still, tyre wear. Ooh, looks like the Ferrari then made an entry towards second Lesbo, and here comes LRB. And the Ferrari was out of shape going out of the second Lesbo. It's allowed LRB to get through again, and Kizizzo has made his way back up into 12th place ahead of Tim Wenting. So Kaz and Tim, I think they both started inside the top 10, but Will Murdoch then has spun coming out of Ascari, and he will drop all those positions there. Down into P15 he goes, and that's a unfortunate way to end. Now he's going to make up most positions as he can, like he did at the start of the race, try and claw his way back up there with the 7 laps remaining of this race. Then DRS there should be enabled for this race, and both Hasses will be putting pressure on Tom. Tom going for his 3rd win in a row. Can he get his first win at a sprint race here? Under pressure from both Hasses, both looking on good form so far this season. And Noah has overtaken here LRB, who's up into P9 after losing out to LRB in the second Lesbo 1 lap ago. And here we go then, Williams or Kraser putting pressure on Zayn. Kraser started in P12 I believe, and now he's P8, so good performance he's done so far in the Williams, and now he's putting pressure on the back of the McLaren. Oh yeah, you can see the back end just sliding away. Probably took too much curve on the entry towards a second chicane. If I can remember what it's called, I should know what it's called. But yeah, didn't get the best of entries he would have wanted, and lost a little bit of time towards the McLaren. And Nightblaze then will be under pressure from the likes of Aries, Zayn and etc, because he's currently outside the DRS range. He has no protection whatsoever. His teammates pulled away. His teammates Jensen up into P4. Jensen does the best of races in Imola, but he's currently up there in P4, making amends after those first 2 races. Santeri was his teammate in the first race, but it didn't go quite well for him, as it was a double stack, and therefore he fell all the way down to P12 at the safety car restart, and didn't have the best of races either in Imola. So let's see what he can do then. It's cool. Look at that, Aries there, massive overspeed there on the AlphaTauri. He takes P5 away from Nightblaze and puts himself up into 5th place. Has he got the pure pace to try and close in of Jensen? And look at that then, the Ferrari and Williams go side by side. Noah has overtaken Kraser for P9, for P8, so I think he was actually defending, but both Hasses have swapped positions, and there we go then. So Frankie must be quicker than Tom, as Frankie earlier on in this race was under pressure from Will Murdoch, but now Will Murdoch has been has fallen down the order. It's released the pressure on Frankie and has allowed him to chase Tom. Let's see then, can Frankie take away first place from Tom? Remember that Frankie had some decent pace back in Imola. Unfortunately, he made a mistake coming out on turn number 9, I believe it was, and lost part of his end plate, and therefore lost a lot of time and positions once he took his pit stop to change that broken wing. So Frankie's pace looks good in Imola, and looks like he's repeated it here at Monza. And Zayn then puts massive pressure on Nightblaze. He was right behind him going into Ascari there. But Nightblaze is still within DRS range of Aries, and Frankie then has dropped outside the 1 second range of DRS then towards Tom. So it looks like Tom's found some time and pulled even more against Frankie. Should both have swapped at that moment in time, or should they have waited? Look at that then, look at Nightblaze. He's under massive pressure from Zayn and Noah, going 3 abreast on the straight, but Noah has the inside line on Zayn as we head down to turn the ball. Look at the AlphaTauri, Nightblaze going back down the inside, but that's Zayn's racing line, and therefore he stays up to P7 then. So unfortunately for Nightblaze, he's just lost 2 places in 1 corner, Oh, I say one straight actually. And Harm under pressure there from Will Murdoch. Will Murdoch is dropping to P16. Alberto to P40, putting pressure on the Red Bull ahead of him. And Ted Wintick and Kizizor are trying to make their way back up into the top 10 places where they started. But Will Murdoch there has spun, coming out of the second chicane. I will remember what the second chicane is called. Probably get my maps up for that. But Nightblaze then. And look at Zayn, he's made a mistake coming out of the second Lesmo, and that's allowed Blaze to crawl up all over the back of him with the help of DRS then switching lanes to try and overtake him. But he can't quite do so on this occasion. Looks like Zayn parked his car in the middle of the road. It closed off the inside and outside, and he stays in P7, but for how long? Because Nightblaze has the DRS advantage on him. 1.5 seconds is the gap between Zayn and Noah, so Zayn will have that protection of a DRS to protect himself against these guys here on the straight. So Frankie 2.3, but Aries spun coming out of Parabolica. Unfortunately there, he was doing a good job into P5, but lost it coming out of there. Right, so back on board then with both Hassers as they're both close towards each other. So it looks like Frankie's dropped away from Tom. And Ella, look at this, they've got a scrap going on into turn 1 between 4 cars, but someone's got into a spin. That's Nightblaze, who was just got clipped in the rear and unfortunately has spun. And he's dropped down into P14 then, so was that Crazer who clipped his inside? And look at this then, another battle forming between LRB, Crazer and Kazitzel. They're going 3 wide. Let's have a look at this then as we head down into turn number 4. Get a good camera angle of this. Oh, contact's made between LRB and Kazitzel there. Crazer is in the mix as well with Tim Wentic and Marley there. So 5-car battle then going on. It's going side by side. It's the first Lesbo. And Tim Wentic had to back out of that one. But LRB then still the only one on those soft compound tyres inside the top 10. They'll be under massive pressure towards the end of the race because those soft compound tyres hold in for the remaining laps of this race, sprint race. But that was an interesting battle then going down into turn 4, the second chicane. Nightblaze picks up a 3-second time penalty, and meanwhile both Hassers are still up into P2 and P3 fighting for second place with Jensen along the rear, so I don't think those two will fight too much, knowing the AlphaTauri and Jensen will strike if those two continue to battle hard. But yeah, looks like Jensen's being dragged along with both Hassers there as Kaya stays behind his teammate of Frankie. Frankie's not able to pull that gap down towards Tom as we head down into turn number 1 then. Tim Wenton looking for a move down the inside. Couldn't quite make it work on that occasion, not close enough. Can try again later on. 2 laps to go in this race. What about both Hassers there? Kaya, is he the quicker car out of the 2? With 2 laps to go, can he catch Tom with 2.3 seconds? I'm not quite sure. They did swap positions a few laps to go, but Frankie there is not able to bring the gap down towards himself and Tom. It's a good place to start. Maybe Frankie, if he stays like this, will have a second chance of this race to try and overtake Tom once it comes to the actual full race. And there we are back on board with Tim Wenton then putting pressure on Marley ahead of him. He's putting pressure on Crazer and LRB. LRB is almost outside of 1 second range, which with himself and Kissel needs to find some time to get himself back in there. And back towards both Hassers there. Kaya is very close. Does he have to overtake his team out of the straight? He can't afford to stay behind too long because Jensen will pounce on him. And there we go, that the move has been done. Kaya will take P2 away from his teammate. And both Hassers there swapping positions. Now Frankie will have to defend from Jensen. Frankie will have the DRS on his teammate, so it will help each other try and remain in P2 and P3. I don't think they have the pure pace to try and close it on Tom. And Tom there, looking dominant yet again. And Molly is putting pressure all over the back of Crazer for P9. LRB doing a good job in P8. And Molly there using the DRS then, so looks like he might try and overtake. Down into second chicane we go. And it doesn't make a move. In that occasion they're too far behind. But look at LRB, bounced over the curbs there, misjudged the braking point. But thankfully did not pick up a penalty, but it's cost him a little bit of time towards Kizizzo as he's able to pull away that's outside that 1 second range of DRS towards LRB. So LRB there will be under massive pressure once they head towards the straight. And Frankie there, got to keep it out for Jensen because Jensen will try and take second place if he can. It'll be quite difficult fighting both Hassers. But can he get one of them before the race ends? They've got one more lap to go after this one. And Tom there right in the final corner to start the final lap of this sprint race then. yet again, showing some good performance like he did in the last 2 rounds. And here we go down on lap 9 out of 9. It's Frankie going to make an overtake of his teammate down into turn number 1. Let's see this as he makes his way, pulls out the slipstream, goes into turn number 1, and he's got the move done ahead of his teammate Kaya. Kaya doesn't want to fight too much, and Kizito has got past Zayn for P6 and LRB then. Let's see what he's doing. He stayed ahead of Krazer and Molly and Tim Wenting, so I expect him to get swallowed up by the field once they headed up towards the long straight, but it turns out he was actually able to keep ahead of those guys. And he'll remain in P8 unless those guys can find a way past him in this last part of the race. So Tom's done a fantastic job yet again, and both Hassas and P2 and P3 there also showing some good strong potential. Frankie there had a lot of potential to try and be on the podium in the last race, but fortunately he picked up that front wind damage. And let's see if he can try and stop Tom from winning this race when the actual full race starts. Both Hassas done well to keep Jensen behind, and Zayn looking for a way past back Kazizo. That's not happened on that occasion because he's too far behind. But what's happened here? Marley's got past Krazer. What's happened to Krazer? Did he get the best of X's? I think Marley took avoided action, but it's a legal overtake as Tom has won the race ahead of Frankie. Down the inside goes Tim Wentic, and Krazer trying to hold it around the outside then. Let's see who comes out on top of this one. And Tim Wentic's got a better exit, and he moves himself up into P9. Can Krazer out-drag him on the straight? No, he can't. And Tim Wentic up into P9 ahead of Krazer in P10. Jensen in the end finished in P4 ahead of Noah P5, Kissiso P6 ahead of Zayn, LRB P8 ahead of Tim Wentic. And that is the sprint race over then. Move on to the actual race to see what happens in the next 27 laps. We are underway for round 3 of the Italian Grand Prix. Looks like Kaya didn't get the best of starts. Still pressure from Jensen, but here we go then. Frankie, will he take the lead away from Tom? Yes, he will then as we head down into turn 1. Frankie has got past Tom as we head into turn 1. Where oh, contact! The AlphaTauri has absolutely slammed into Tom there. And Tom is, where is he? Tom is in P3. And then look at that then, all over the show. Tim Wentic up into P4, because this is in P5 then. So it's a Haas 1-2 from the help of an AlphaTauri who slammed into Tom. and Fraser is up into P2. Then lots of chaos going on at the start of this race then as we head into turn number 4. Kaya has got a 5-second time penalty for cutting the chicane. That's probably the second chicane, and yeah, loads of things going on then. It's the start of the race. No formation lap, of course, and I think Aries got full wind damage, or maybe his tyres are cold. But here we go to the AlphaTauri. Was that Jensen? I think it was Jensen, because he's on that. Oh! He almost lost it out there, did Aries. But yeah, plenty of things that happened in the first lap. As you can see, the Aries trying to get temperature in his medium compound tyres. And look at that then, changing order drastically there. And Tom has fallen down into P17 then, so it looks like he won't get his third win unless a miracle happens. But yeah, Alberto then fallen down into P17. Frankie then leads this race ahead of Kraser in P2, Tim Wentic in P3 ahead of Kea in P4. Kea, the highest medium, the hard runner in P4 there, but he has got a 5-second time penalty. He'll have to serve it as next pit stop if he's well, he's definitely taking pit stop because he's only lap 1. But here comes Noah then, side by side with Molly as we head into turn number 1, and Noah is up into P8 then ahead of Molly then. So it looks like Tom won then. Will he get his third consecutive win? Unlikely down in P16 unless something happens. Of course, he had the pace, so he can have to claw his way back to the field then and recover as much positions as he can. And let's see where he'll end up then. So plenty of laps left to go in this race. A safety car could be deployed. I never know. But currently Haas had the advantage there of Frankie. Dream start for him. He got past Tom into turn number 1. Imagine if Frankie didn't get a good start, that'd probably be him who got making contact with the AlphaTauri there. Jensen just locked up and had no control of the car, and therefore slammed into the side of Mercedes. And look at that, the Aston Martin of LRB then on the hard compound tyres did not get a good exit out of the second Degner. That's the Japanese Grand Prix. Second Lesmo, sorry. Aries is right behind him. And Aries on these medium compound tyres. Oh, look at that, the snap of oversteer there coming out of Ascari. He should have the benefit of those medium compound tyres and get past him as quickly as he can before those medium tyres start wearing away. So early this stage, the medium runner should have the disadvantage. And Jensen's fighting with Harm in P13 there. He's just got past him of the Red Bull driver, and now Aries pulls out the slipstream of LRB and gets past him up to P6. But Tim Wentic there has got past Kraser, and he moves himself up into P2 into turn number 1 goes. That was just pure slipstream and ERS there, and now DRS then is down enabled. And Tim Wentic in his first race here in Formula Sim Series is up into P2. Stellar job that was from Tim Wentic. He fell outside the top 10 at the sprint race, and here comes Will Murdoch then at the back of the Red Bull. Is he going to make a lunge down into the second chicane? We know what Will Murdoch's like on the brakes. He's very late on the brakes, and look at that. Can he make the corner? No, he hasn't. He's going to bounce over the curb, and he takes P9 away from Morley then. If Morley saw that, I don't think he'd be happy about Will Murdoch cutting the chicane there, but looks like the game then hasn't told him to give the back the position. He did make the overtake for turn 4, but I'm not quite sure what the rules state if he has to give that place back, because he did complete the move off the track. But we'll see then later on in this race what happens. So Frankie then still leads. 2.3 is the gap between himself and Tim Wentic ahead of Kraser in P3 then. So let's have a look at the gauge. Look at that. Kaya's got an 8-second time penalty already on lap 3 then, so big disadvantage for him. And if a safety car comes out, minimises his chances to pull him away to build that gap. But what's happened to Kraser there? Looks like he made a mistake coming out of Parabolica, and now Kaya has moved himself up into P3 then. A slight yellow flag for the time being, but looks like Kraser was able to recover the car, and now Noah then has moved himself up into P7 ahead of the Aston Martin of LRB then, chasing the medium runners. And Kaya then got some good pace up there on the hard compound tyres. The longer he keeps this up, and Ethan's left the session, so my co-commentator unfortunately is not with me tonight. That's unfortunate, but hopefully he can join me next time. Jensen and Night Blazer both swap positions there for P12, but if Kaya can keep this pace up, it'll be beneficial for him. Oh, that's Tim Wentic who's just spun coming out of his first Lesmo. Oh, it's a shame there for Tim Wentic, and he's fallen all the way down outside the top 10 then. Just lost the rear end of the car in the first Lesmo. Can be very a low downforce setup in a corner like that, can be very tricky. And that's a shame there for Tim Wentic then. It's now a Haas 1-2 like he was on lap 1. With Kraser in P3 ahead of Casiso in P4 then. So Kraser then, not been in the top 3 in the whole season, not last season either, so it's his first time here in the top 3. And now he's putting pressure on the Haas of Kaya there. And look at that, doesn't get the best of exits coming out of Parabolica and be all under sorts of pressure from the Williams, and it will take P2 away from him. Side by side with DRS, expect this move to be done before turn number 1, and he does. And he moves himself up into second place then, so okay, I had no choice but to back out of that one. Doesn't want to drain the ERS because it's not worth it. Just gonna let him go 5 back later on in this race. It will be beneficial, however, with Kraser and Frankie on the same tyres, medium compound tyres, that if KF fights him for a long time, what's happening down here? Looks like Harms there missed the corner at turn 1, has to take to the skate road and around the bollards. He's fallen down into P16. But yeah, if KF can fight Kraser for P2, that'll allow Frankie to pull away, as he's able to build that gap up, and Kraser can't do the undercut on Frankie there, so the longer KF fights Kraser will be beneficial for him. Frankie just pull away and build that gap on the medium compound tyres. Maybe both Hassels could use a bit of teamwork there to try and get Frankie's first win. Frankie had the pace in the Imola Grand Prix, made mistakes, has got the pace here at the Monza Grand Prix. And this would be a big boost for Haas if they can score some decent points here. Looking good at the constructors as Haas. I think they've had a double point scoring in both races so far this season, and now it could be a double podium. We'll see then, as Kraser will be under pressure from Kaya as we head on to lap 6 out of 27 then. We'll see what's happening further back. We've got Shizou Tom behind Tim Wenting, as Wenting is still putting pressure on Nightblaze ahead of him. It's a shame for Tim Wenting there. What could he have done in this race if it wasn't for that spin? And Tim Wenting there has overtaken Nightblaze for P13. Remember, this is a no assist tier, so some drivers, if they've just turned off assist, it can be very difficult to adjust. Mistakes will be made along the process, but it's all about learning from those mistakes. It's just one big DRS train as you expect around here at the tempo of speed in Monza. Oh, look at that, the Red Bull getting out of shape. That was Marley again, and Benz is about to go side by side with him as we head into the first lap. Where we go. Has Benza? No, he hasn't. He's still there, is Marley, but I think Benza went too wide coming out of the first Lesmo and had to give that place back towards Marley. But can he put in the pressure now? Get this move done before Ascari. Shizou Tom has overtaken Nightblaze, but Nightblaze has spun coming out of the second Lesmo and he's lost his front wing. Had a major impact with the wall, unfortunately for him, and that's his race there ruined. No stage car is deployed for recovering the debris, so FIA. But look at that, someone's crashed in the background there. Oh, that was Alberto, who just lost it coming out. Was it Alberto? I'm not quite sure who it was, but somebody there just disappeared off the road coming out of Ascari. Look at the Haas that came under massive pressure for Kisizel there. Kisizel pulling out to the left hand side there. He's about to go side by side with him into turn number 1, getting into turn number 2. Will Murdoch has got past LRB for P7. Clamped the curb there, and LRB there gets a better exit. Now they go side by side. You can see the massive power advantage over there for LRB. And look at that then. Nightblaze was retired in the pit lane, so no safety car will be caused. And Will Murdoch has moved himself back up into P7 then. I love the switchback move into turn number 2 there. Usually the outside line is better, but on that occasion, Will Murdoch could get the power as quickly as he wanted as he went into that curb aggressively. And Shizou Tom has got past Tim Wenting for P13. Has Tom got the pace? Has he got any damage? Because he did get hit at the side of the car. Is there any barboard damage or something like that? Any sideboard damage for Shizou Tom? Not quite sure, but I don't think his front wing will be affected because he did get hit there. But if there is damage, then it's understandable being hit so hard from the side of the car. Oh, he's gone off the track yes again, so that could have been Tom, who has been struggling out there at the exit of Scari. But we'll see his pace then. If he has got damage, it's going to be a difficult race to try and claw his way back through the field. He's losing time, however, to Zane, so that could be explain why he's not able to pull that time back. As we head down into turn 1 yet again, Kraser, a massive DRS train provider from these guys behind, all Ferrari powered cars. Ferrari and Alfa Romeo. And Frankie has pulled a gap of 5.1 seconds towards Kraser, so Frankie looking comfortable in first place there. Can he keep it up throughout the remainder of this race? He'll be pitting about a few laps time. And I'll just check the comments. So this Will Murdoch, surely he gives the place back. I'm not quite sure. but if anybody knows about any full wind damage or any damage towards Tom, let me know. He is losing time towards it. The gap's 3 seconds. It was 2.5, so it might have a bit of damage. Anyways, back to the front there. Craze will be under massive pressure there. He's not able to pull away on those medium compound tyres as Marley then has overtaken LRB for P8. LRB in the hard compound tyres as well. Can Marley try and claw his way back in from the top 7? DRS trade from P2 down to P7 will Murdoch at the back of it as we head down into Parabolica. As LRB able to fight back on the straight, you will have DRS on there at Marley. So here we go then, just again, Kaya is very close towards Crazer and he's pulling out to the right hand side of his slipstream. And look at that there, the Ferrari and the Alfa Romeo going side by side. That is Casizo and Aries as we head down into turn number 1. Casizo's at the inside line, Aries at the inside line for this corner, and he stays ahead for the time being. Does he get good traction? Yes he does. He's able to stay ahead of Casizo then, so good defending there from Aries. And he's able to stay in 4th place ahead of Kaz and his teammate Noah in P6 there. So Kaz there tried it down the inside, but it didn't quite work out. Wasn't fully alongside to make that move, and therefore Aries had to race in line into turn number 2. Able to get on the throttle as normally as he would have wanted. But 2 DRS zones around here. One of them is here. Not really effective, but overtaking opportunities can still be made around this part of the track. You can be very close towards your rival. But is that Jensen who's fallen down the order? Yes it is. And Jensen there had a torrid time and he's just lost his front wing like his teammate Nightblaze in the same spot. I don't think a safety car will be deployed because it wasn't for Nightblaze who spun. But both Alpha Towers they're not having a good race at all. And is that Tim Wentic who's just gone for a spin? Yes it is, coming out of Ascari. The first driver who's struggling around there, but Noah then is all over the back of Casizo. Can he make this move down his 10-1? Further up the road we've got Crazer, V overtaken Kaya for P2. Here comes Noah then, as we head down into turn number 1. Who's late on the brakes? Could be the Ferrari and Noah. And he does outbrake himself, and Casizo's able to make the move going into turn number 2. And Casizo then has made the move on Noah. Noah there, you can see the back end just slipping out just a bit as he's able to get on the throttle, trying to stay ahead of Will Murdoch. So Aries then looking for a way past of Crazer and Kaya, but couldn't quite do so on that occasion. Tried it down the straight, but there's just no way through for the Ferrari driver trying to get on the podium. The longer these guys battle, the better it is for Frankie to just pull away at the front and have no trouble whatsoever controlling this race. The safety car will be helping him right now because he's able to go on the mediums to hards. So everything's going his way for the time being. Is Frankie just going to keep pumping in those lap times, maintaining the pace. Make sure he's making no mistakes as well, picking up penalties. He can afford a few penalties with the gap he has. But yeah, he's doing a fantastic job as Frankie. And you can see there his Haas teammate in the distance in P2. Doing an excellent job defending those guys behind and therefore thwarting their progress. As we start lap 11 of this race, then we're going back on board with these guys. We're fighting all over for P2. We've got a Ferrari in the pit lane, and that is Aries who's in the pit lane, mediums to hards. But here we go then on the straight. Casizo reverses the Ferrari of Noah. And Casizo they're defending all the way to the right hand side, not allowing Noah past whatsoever. And Kaz is up into P4 then. So two medium runners left in the top 5. Crazy is yet to pit, and so is Frankie. Frankie can afford to stay out for a few laps extra. As Aries then has rejoined back down in P14. Let's see the pace he's got. Is he able to undercut Crazy? I think he will, because Crazy's stuck in the DRS. And Aries got fresh air to try and reduce that gap. But bearing in mind, the warm-up does take a long time. But Casizo then has got past Crazy. And look at that, not a place you expect. But he's moved himself up into P3. He must have been battling for a long time. Or Crazy must have made a mistake, because Casizo is 2.3 behind Kaya. So something must have happened there. Crazy made a mistake on that particular part of the track. But Casizo now, he's released into P3. Can he catch Kaya in P2? Big chance of him winning this race. He did get on the podium at the Bahrain Grand Prix because he crashed out. Things didn't go away in Imola, but this time around in Monza looking good for him so far. Is he able to maintain that? Can he try and score some decent points here tonight at the Monza Grand Prix? And Crazy then making his pit stop from mediums to hards. We'll see if he rejoins ahead of Aries. as we head down the long straight then, as we head into turn number 1, as now we're going to make a move. Nobody's too far back on Kazizel. And the Mercedes, they're looking for a move on the inside of LRB, the Aston Martin. LRB has done a fantastic job so far in the Aston Martin in P7. I think he scored points at the end. No, I don't think he did, because I think he made mistakes later on in the race, but he was in the top 10 in the Imola Grand Prix. And I think, where is he rejoined? Jensen's on the soft compound tyres at the P15, but he's hoping for a safety car, so is Tim Wentic. But Benza has overtaken LRB, and I just jinxed him there. I think he just dipped a wheel in the gravel, probably bounced off the curb in turn 5, therefore bounced into the gravel. You can see that the gravel traps on his tyres. And he's dropped down into P9, then losing the place towards Benza and Zayn. And Aries that has rejoined. Where is he? Aries and Crazy, they're P30 to P40, so they came out very close to each other. And Aries has just overtaken Crazy, so Crazy needs to get temperature in those tyres before he can start bolting away. And Aries had one lap extra to get temperature into his tyres, and Frankie then has made his pit stop in the lead. His teammate will take advantage, and the guys with the hard compound tyres will move up. We've got 2 more drivers left of the medium compound tyres. Benza and Zayn, expect them to be in the pits very soon in this race. And Noah then has got the overspeed of Kaz, but he doesn't make a move down into turn number 1. And Kaz, does he outbrake himself? Yes, he does. And here comes Noah, and then on Kaz, so he has to go over the chicane. And Noah then has to move to the left-hand side to avoid the collision with Kaz then, as going side by side, going into Curva Grande then. I think Kaz was too busy focused on Noah. And look at Will Murdoch going through as well on Kazizel, as he makes his way up into P3. So Kazizel there outbreaking himself. It's just cost him 2 positions, and he's fallen into P4. Probably a bit too focused on Noah from behind. And Noah there being very patient, making sure he got a better exit coming out of turn number 2. And he moves himself up into P2 then. With Kaz bounced over the curbs, he's just given himself a 3-second time penalty, unfortunately there. So that's another disadvantage he has over his shoulders. He'll have to find a lot of time to regain if he wants to get back up there. But now Will Murdoch there putting pressure on Noah. Where to start, Will Murdoch? He was outside the top 10, wasn't it? Because they did spin at, I think it was Ascari at the sprint race, and now he's up into P3. So Will Murdoch then has gained 11 positions in this race. Probably about to get another one after he overtakes Noah with the help of DRS and ERS he has at his disposal. And there we go then, make the move on Noah. He's up into P2 then, ahead of the Ferrari. Further back, Kazizel is under pressure from Molly. Does choose a good idea inside on that occasion, stays behind for the time being. So Frankie then, our net race leader, has just rejoined in P11. There's some pressure ahead of him there as well. 3 seconds is the gap to himself and Harb. He's rejoined ahead of Crazer and Aries, as you expect with that massive gap he had out front. So their worst fear now in this race is a safety car. They don't want a safety car in this race because it'll benefit them more for us. They're able to go on the medium compound tyres, because evidently those medium tyres can go towards the end, because you can see their Benza and Zayn doing 30 laps on those mediums. Still got some decent pace, as you can see their Benza did have a bit of a mistake coming out on the second Lesbo. So Frankie, Crazer and Aries don't want a safety car now in this stage, and Benza picking himself up a 3-second time penalty, outbreaking himself, going into Ascari there. That's unfortunate for him, but Will Murdoch and Noah don't have a penalty inside the top 6 then, so it's good news for them. Can they keep it up? Probably be beneficial towards the end of the race, especially when there's a safety car that could be deployed later on. But into the pit lane goes Kaya then, and the Red Bull, and the Ferrari, so that's a McLaren actually. So they're in the pit lane then, going from hards to mediums. So they didn't stay out too much longer than the likes of Frankie. Frankie was able to pit as late as he wanted, because he was able to have that massive gap, and therefore can pit as late as he wanted, reduce the laps on those hard compound tyres. But now they're on the medium compound tyres, can they claw their way back up towards Crazen? Oh no, they had a mistake there. Will Kazizel take advantage? Yes, he will then. So the rear tyres locking up there. Let's allow Kazizel to make his way back up into P2 then. So Kazizel was not waiting for a second chance. And another mistake there from Noah has cost him. And Tom has overtaken Shane, and that's moved himself up into P12. Can Zane fight back on the Mercedes? No, he can't. Zane's just come out of the pit lane, and Benza has overtaken Noah as well, so Noah's just dropped down into P4. Unfortunately for him, he just lost 2 places there of that mistake going into the second chicane. And War Murdoch then has currently taken the lead in this race, but will have to pit soon, because if he doesn't pit, that'll allow the medium runners to try and undercut him, and into the pit lane he comes then ahead of Kazizor. I think the rest of the guys will pit. And look at Benza, oh, he's been tapped by Noah. And LRB's got a 5-second time penalty for speed in the pit lane. I think it was a domino effect. I think LRB hit Noah, Noah hit the Mercedes of Benza. And out they come then. And Frankie then takes the lead of this race, but now he's going to watch his back with medium runners behind him. So if a safety car does come out, he'll have fresh mediums right behind him, so that's not what he wants. So he hopes for a safety car not to come out, as Aries then up to P4. Is he able to get Will Murdoch? No, he doesn't. Will Murdoch then gets himself up to P3. And Aries then looking to undercut these guys, pitted earlier with the medium compound tyres. It's not paid dividends for him, but is that Benza who's just spun? I'm not quite sure. He's down in P12. And Shizuru Tom is fighting Noah. They're going side by side. It's Tom and Noah. Noah needs to warm those tyres up as quickly as he can. But it's not helping now with Tom there alongside him, and Tom then up into P9. Once those tyres are warmed up, I think Noah will probably get back past Tom. You never know with the pace that Tom might still bring. Maybe he's changed his full wing in the pit stops, I'm quite sure, but it looks like the car's okay. And further, that was Crazy who did get the best of X's. And here comes Tom then, alongside the Aston Martin of LRB. Both having DRS as slipstream. Who's going to brake later? It is Tom. LRB backs out of that because he doesn't want 2 cars to go in there, because it'll end in chaos. And look at Crazy there, did not get the best of X's on those hard compound tyres, and Tom then able to take advantage. They say the hards to mediums is the fastest strategy, evidently so, unless you pull a massive gap out like Frankie did. And here comes Aries then on the Williams. Aries will 6-lap all the tyres, so I don't expect him to have the pace. And Crazy's retired. Is that in the pit lane? I think it is in the pit lane. I don't know why he retired. I don't know why he retired there, but unfortunately, look at the Haas then. Okay, get a wobbly exit coming out of turn number 2. And now Kazizor will be all over the back of him, but using the ERS to try to stay ahead is Kaya. Kazizor had a lot of ERS disposable. And once we get us the straight for the second time around, Kazizor could use that to try and overtake the Haas. So Will Murdoch then in P3, despite well, it must be said, started outside the top 10. Has he got a chance of winning this race? The medium tyre is looking really good at this stage of the race. Lower fuel, cars less heavier, medium tyres towards the end. Let's go. Let's see if Will Murdoch can close the gap down towards Frankie. Frankie will be watching his shoulder for Will Murdoch. Those medium tyres then will be quicker towards the stage of this race. The hard runners didn't really stay out too much longer than the medium runners, did they? I think Kent Benza and pitted along with the hard runners at the same time. So it's not benefited him either, down in P12. It's quite weird, the strategy this game. And Will Murdoch then 1 second quicker than his previous best, so he's definitely on the charge here. First car is Alberto, and Kazizor has got past Kaya, like I said, on the straight, and he moves himself up into P5. However, further behind, Noah has overtaken Tom for P7. Those tyres are now warmed up, and now we can go chase after Kaya and Kazizor, who was fighting before the pit stops. Lost a bit of time in the pit stop as well, did Noah. And Harm has overtaken Jensen. He's up into P13 then, ahead of Jensen, who's on the soft compound tyres. Those softs are A-laps also, I think they're dying now. And Tim Wentic is all over the back of him as well, in the McLaren. They're all waiting for safety cars, not came yet. Usually there is safety cars around here in Monza because it's easy to drop the car. This place is easy, but I don't expect them to hit the wall. There's a gravel trap there. Tim Wentic who gets the best of exits. Another place where it's easy to lose the car is here, the exit of the first Lesmo. And second Lesmo is also easy to lose the car, so anywhere around this track is easy to lose the car. Especially Ascari. So easy to just carry too much speed and lose the back end of the car. And more Murdoch, 2.3 seconds now is the gap between himself and Alberto. Rapidly closing on the Williams driver, who's the only man yet to pit in this race, Alberto. And Kizzo has just set the fastest lap as he puts pressure on Aries. Aries is no longer in the DRS range of Will Murdoch. Didn't expect him to stay there with the tyre difference and the tyre age difference as well. So looks like Jensen pitting then off those soft compound tyres. Those softs do die out very quickly in this game. So Aries then under massive pressure from Kizzo. I don't think he can do anything about it, but they both weaved on the straight there. Look at that. The back end of the car just stepping out on braking, and Kizzo then pulls to the right hand side, but he backs out knowing he wants DRS. And that's allowed Kaya to get even closer and closer. I wonder if this will pull Noah into the DRS as well, but Kansas can't afford to stay there for too much longer. And I think Aries should just let him go, knowing he can't fight with the medium compound tyres. In fact, they're both weaving, so I think they're working together. They are in Shazoo. We saw this at the Bahrain Grand Prix, where we saw two drivers working with each other in different teams. I'm not quite sure if it was these two. Looks like they're working well together here. And Kaya then will have a run on Aries. As Aries able to defend now, we've got DRS. Will he make it hard for Kaya, or how hard will it be for him to get past him? But Aries make it difficult allow, because this is just pull away from him. There we go then. On the straightaway yet again we go. Can Kaya make an overtake? But Will Murdoch has got past Alberto for P2. He caught up him really quickly there. And Aries is able to stay ahead of Kaya for P5. And Will Murdoch on a charge. Can he try and win this race away from Frankie? The gap is 6.1 seconds to close down. If Will Murdoch wins this race, it'll be a fantastic job for him despite where he started. And Kaya then, he's just picked himself up a 3-second time penalty. And he's essentially just pushed him along the corners there. Can't find a way past, can Kaya. But if Kizzo does pull out the 1 second range of DRS towards Aries, Aries will have no chance of getting back defending from Kaya. As we head onto the straight yet again with the DRS detection point. Kizzo is caught up to Alberto. He's the only man in this race not pitting. He might as well go on the soft compound tyres. Bear in mind they have a lot of soft compound tyres, but that's a Haas who was just spun and hit the wall. And he's just dropped it out of Ascari. And Kaya there loses end plate, will probably have to make a pit stop. Luckily he didn't lose his wheel there. That's a shame there for Kaya there, probably got the throttle way too early. Putting pressure on Aries. And now he's just lost it coming out of there, but Alberto under massive pressure from Kizzo. There was no chance defending that one against the Alfa Romeo who's on the medium compound tyres. 7 laps to go in this race. Kaya has retired in the pit lane. The gap between Momo. Oh, Alberto there losing traction coming out of turn number 2. Into Kirby again. I need to find out what that second chicane is called, because I can't believe what it's called. He definitely has a name. Alberto then doing hard to soft, or is he probably hoping for a safety car? Remember, they have lots of softs available to them because we didn't have a full qualifying. It was one shot qualifying in the sprint race. In fact, yeah, I think they do have. I don't know, because they only use one set. No one used softs in sprint race. They used softs in one shot qualifying. That was it. So they might have 2 sets of softs left in this race. Because I think it still continues over, because I remember we had to set up different lobbies if we wanted to do a sprint race, but now we don't have to do that because it's set up for us. But Aries then making his way towards the final corner. He's got his teammate Noah right behind him. They're both on different strategies, so don't expect each other to fight too much. But Will Murdoch, 5.4 seconds now is the gap. Can Frankie defend? And here comes Aries then, pulls out to the right hand side. And that's an easy target. Here comes Noah then. Is able to... Whoa, he hasn't overtaken him to turn. I thought he would get him easily with the overspeed he had. But stays behind him going into turn number 2. And look at that. You can see the difference in traction there. With Noah on those better tyres. And Alberto there falls down into P6. And here comes Tom then. He moves himself up into P6. There's no chance of Alberto defending that one, unfortunately for him. But when is he going to pit? Alberto, 21 lap old tyres. He should make a pit stop soon. The longer he does this, the less chance he has of gaining back those positions on the soft compound tyres, because he left it too much and he's definitely struggling. And now he's just allowed LRB to come through as well. Della Rocha Chicane, that's what it's called. Can't believe I forgot that corner name. I haven't commentated for a long time, it hasn't revised either, but it's called Della Rocha Chicane. But here we go then, going down into Parabolica. Noah should have this easy on his teammate with the DRS. And Tom there in P6. I don't think a chance of podium still on. Bearing in mind Kaz does have a 3-second time penalty. The gap is 2.5 between himself and Noah. And look at that then, Noah then still side by side with his teammate as we head into turn 1. Can Tom go around the outside of Aries? It's the inside line for the next corner. They go side by side. Tom should have a better exit on those medium compound tyres as we come out of turn number 2. Use the ERS for extra performance down the straight. Going into Curva Grande, the Ferrari of Aries is fighting as hard as he can, but has to give the place up. But Tom then moves himself up into P5. Now he's up into P4, but can he get a podium? Tom. The gap is 3 seconds. I think Kaz does have a 3-second time penalty, which it does. If he's able to get the podium after what happened the first lap, without any safety cars, and Tim Wentig has just retired in the pit lane. If Tom could get the podium, that'd be a fantastic recovery drive, despite what happened to him. Looks like in the first half of the race, he wasn't making any progress. Maybe he had front wing damage, and he was able to change it at the pit stops, but definitely the second half of the race, he's shown his pace. It shows he's got the pace, despite making contact to turn 1 with another driver. Not the third win he would have wanted, but he can't win them all, I guess. And Tom then has DRS on the Ferrari and Noah. Is he able to get past him? No, he's too far back on the straight. The gap between first and second has moved to 4.1. And the laps remain is 3 laps left to go in this race. And Benza has just overtaken Molly, he's up into P8. So Will Murdoch then has got any more pace in that Alpine to try and close in for the race lead. The gap is 3.9. He's definitely bringing the gap down, but not by much. And the worst thing that can happen is that Cassiso can hound him by fighting him for P2. So Will Murdoch has got to make sure that Cassiso doesn't fight him, otherwise he'll lose too much time and therefore don't have a chance to win this race. Frankie, as long as he doesn't make mistakes, and look at that, the ERS advantage he has as well. So one thing, he has ERS advantage, and maybe has the tyre advantage later on in this race, but the medium compound tyres are still in good shape. One thing he can't afford to do is pick up a 3-second time penalty or make mistakes. He's got to keep it clean from here on in. He's led all this race except for the pit stops, but once that's done and dusted, he was back in front. Frankie has dominated this race, done a fantastic job, and on his way to a potential victory if he can keep it nice and clean towards the last parts of the race. Be a fantastic victory for him. Yes, he did get a bit of luck with the AlphaTauri hitting Jensen, but AlphaTauri hitting Tom. And talk about Tom, he's right behind Noah. And look at Noah there, get a snap of oversteer at the exit of turn number 2. And Tom there doesn't look like he's about to overtake him into turn number 2. He stays behind for the time being. But if Tom does overtake Noah, is he able to pull that 3-second gap down toward himself and Cassiso to try and take the podium away from the Alfa Romeo driver? The gap's coming down to 2.9 now between Will Murdoch and Frankie. But once Will Murdoch gets there, Frankie will have the ERS advantage. Frankie will have the ERS advantage over Will Murdoch, because that's the problem Will Murdoch's got. If he does bring the gap all the way down, he's not able to use that ERS to overtake him, whereas Frankie will to defend from him. The gap between Noah and Cassiso is 4.0, but Tom has saved up a bit of ERS. Well, they've both got a decent amount of ERS then. Can Tom make an overtake on Noah down to turn number 1? Noah's made a mistake! And that's easy pickings there from Tom. He's moved himself up into P4 with the help of Noah's mistake, and plus he's got DRS as well. And now Aries is about to overtake his teammate for P5 as we go side by side, heading into turn number 1. Who's late on the brakes? It's Aries late on the brakes. Noah's still hanging it in the air. He has the outside line for the next corner. Can he get a better exit with traction? Going side by side, it's a Ferrari pair. This is going to be interesting as we head down into the Della Rocha chicane. Which one of these four is going to make it out on top? As we head down into the second chicane, Noah has overtaken Aries for P6. Or should I say Noah has defended from Aries, so he's defended from the Ferrari in P6. But Tom, I think now he's up into P4. Can he bring that gap down towards 3 seconds, under 3 seconds? Has he got the pace to us? Because he's just got the edge over Tom. He's just overtaken the AlphaTauri of Jensen. The gap between Will Murdoch and Frankie is 2 seconds, but the laps are running out for Will Murdoch to try and get that race victory. Frankie, all he's going to do now on this last lap is keep it nice and clean. Don't pick up any penalties, don't make his mistakes. He's got the gap to 2 seconds, he's got the ERS advantage if he does bring that gap down. But it's the last lap of this race then, so Frankie just needs to bring that car home. And he's en route to his first victory here in Formula Sim Series. Be a phenomenal victory for him. Misstarting him in the last time on the podium, but this time looks like he's on the course for a win to make amends from the last race. Both AlphaTauris have had the pace this race. Unfortunately, Kaya made that mistake coming out of Ascari, and it dropped him all the way down to last place. Then he retired eventually. What could it have been if Tom didn't get collected by one of the AlphaTauris into turn number 1? Got to give credit to Will Murdoch as well. Started P13 and now he's up into P2, so he's done a phenomenal job in this race to claw his way back up to the field. And now we're going to go aboard with the Haasman. There he is, coming out of Ascari. Fantastic strategy from him, very clean, very consistent, no mistakes for what I've seen so far in this race. Maintained the gap towards 2.1, and now he's making his way through the final corner. This is where he can start celebrating. Here he comes then. TF Frankie will come across the line to win the Monza Grand Prix ahead of Will Murdoch in P2. Kaz will pick up his first podium of the season. Tom will finish in P4 ahead of Noah. The gap was 3/10 between Tom and Kissisor. Aries in P6, LRB in P7, Marley in P8 takes P7 away from LRB. Benza in P9, Zay takes P9 away from Benza, and Harm will finish in 11th place. Alberto Alvareri finishes in P12. He's going to try to take the fastest lap away from Jensen. Jensen got the fastest lap, but is Alberto going to take it? I don't think he did. Alberto Avari will finish in P12 for OP, the Italian driver at his home Grand Prix. Unfortunately, not got his way. Hards to softs didn't pay dividends towards the end for him. But anyways, that's the third race of the season. Tom's winning streak has come to an end, and Frankie was able to eliminate that. There he is, the Dutchman of Frankie, winning his first race of the season, picking up his first podium of the season. Well deserved from Frankie. Will Murdoch, I think he's my driver of the day in my eyes. After that phenomenal performance, he didn't score any points in the sprint race, but he definitely gained some in the actual 29 lap race. Congrats to Frankie then for winning the race ahead of Tom. It wasn't ahead of Tom. There we go, then the classifications for this race. The Dutchman and Frankie in P1, and there you have it. From P14 on the grid to P2, Will Murdoch has made some fantastic progress on the whole field. Maybe that move will be investigated down at turn 5, where he did cut the chicane to make it a complete overtake. But that's up to Marley to report that, because that was the driver who was been overtaken by Will Murdoch. So it's up to him if he wants to report it. I don't think the stewards can do anything about it unless Marley does report it, or the drivers of Ryder report it. It's up to them. But congrats to Will Murdoch on P2. Regardless of any incidents. Unlucky to Tom, but that was a good recovery drive from last to P4. He'll be disappointed with that race, I'm sure, but his pace was still good in the race, so that's one thing you can take away from this race. My name is Jamie Morris. Hopefully you enjoyed the Italian Grand Prix, and see you all next time for round 4. Hopefully Ethan will be next to me. He was supposed to be here today, but not quite sure what happened to him. I'll message him later. But enjoy your weekend, and see you all next time at round 4. Join us at 7 PM on Thursday yet again for more racing action.